Let's welcome ourselves Mavis Curry.
Okay, first thing I do is avoid the outlet there. Have you noticed that there's been a lot of little oops this morning? I mean, look, things aren't going quite as exactly planned. Well, there's a reason for that. It started in 2012. And we are moving into a new vibration. I like to call it the vibration of the heart. A new level of expectancy. And so this morning, what I'd like to talk to you about is, and share with you, a journey. Elements of my journey. Some of you have heard it. I'm going to be even more honest this morning and share you a little bit more about it. And I know it's something that we all share. That we all want to elevate our consciousness. That there's things that we've been told we need to let go of. Those little things called attachments. And on my journey, I also learned there's things called attitudes, and I think there's productive and less productive. And ultimately, it's what we hold to us in each moment. It was beautifully sung, is our state of being. So I'd like to share with you, let's see if I can not pull a Cynthia here. This is a model. I'm a very visual person. In the School of Metaphysics, we teach consciousness. And we teach it in the context of elevations of consciousness, levels of consciousness, understanding ourselves as a being of a collective set of consciousness. The one level that we're in most of the time is our physical daily consciousness. 95% of the time we're there. Matter of fact, I heard a disturbing statistic yesterday. 95% of our thoughts today are the thoughts we had yesterday. Now, is that scary or what? That's a good answer. I'd expect that from you. This next level is our subconscious mind. That's the area of our consciousness that we carry with us from lifetimes to lifetime. It's a place that we go when we go to sleep at night. The highest level of consciousness that we all connect with is superconsciousness. We know, especially in unity, as a metaphysical community, which I dearly love, and you guys are, I'm so happy to be here and become a part of this community. That superconscious level, that level of our own authority, of our own being, of who we really are in our essence. We are an element of light. We are an I am. We just kind of forget it every now and then. So the ideal, as we describe it at the School of Metaphysics, is to become a whole functioning self, independent of any person, place, or thing, for peace, contentment, and security. And that we are connected in all levels of consciousness at every moment. That's the ideal. And we vacillate from that, and that's why the line's on either side. There's a line up the middle that says, when I'm completely aligned and in harmony with myself, I can be in truth, speak truth, live truth. Sometimes I deviate a little bit, more so than I would like to. So on my journey, I also discovered that, anybody heard of David Hawkins? Okay, I got a picture of consciousness. Now I'm excited because now I can measure it. And so he has this thing, it's a kinesiology, it's a test to see where my consciousness is right now. You can actually, has anybody done this before? It's something you can learn. It's a wonderful tool. And being I'm a Libra, okay? I kind of like validation and things. The interesting thing about this is that this is a state that is desirable. And if you look at these numbers here, this is a measurement, if you will, of a vibrational level. Our highest vibrational level occurred with the masters, the Christ consciousness, the Buddha consciousness, reasoning, being able to understand, create understanding abstraction in those moments where we create that understanding is where we mostly gravitate to. Just above that is love. Just above that is love. Then we move into joy, peace, and enlightenment, and what we experience as an emotion when we're there. So I'd like to talk about how to get there and how I've been moving on. The first thing is, everybody's heard attachments. You need to let go of attachments, right? Right. Thank you. I like a responsive. Does anybody recognize this picture? Now, we say kids do this, and they learn about attachments real early. And actually, my daughters, 2 and 4, their dad came into my office, and he says, all right, you got to do something here. I said, okay. He said, the girls are fighting. I'm like, okay, so handle it. He said, no, I'm not getting in the middle of this. They're fighting. You need to go in and take care of it. So I went in the living room, and they were fighting over this toy. And the little one was about to cry, and the big one was pulling it back. I says, girls, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know who's right or wrong here. If Mama has to solve this problem, I'm going to have to take this toy and just put it up, because I don't know what would be fair. So you have an opportunity here to work this out. So I'm going to go in another room. You guys calm down a little bit, and you work with this a little bit, and let's come back in and tell me what you figured out. So about 5 minutes later, their dad comes in the office. He says, well, it's worked out. I says, oh, really? Well, that's good. That's a great lesson for the girls. He says, yeah. The big one looked at the little one and says, I got it, you don't, it's worked out. Now, you might think, well, that's kind of mean. That's really not fair. The truth is, there was a learning in that. And it's really interesting, the personalities as they developed. The learning for the older one was that she could be in her authority, execute her authority. She felt she was justified in that. The greater learning was from the smaller one, because the smaller one learned proper perspective. Don't start a fight you can't end. So she just got up and walked away. There was no more crying, no more fighting. It was done. So I began a journey in metaphysics, and we all are on this same journey of understanding ourselves and recognizing what we're attached to. And I used to do interesting things to prove that I wasn't attached to stuff. And I decided, in particular when I began studying at the School of Metaphysics, that I really needed to take a serious look at my attachments. That my identity was shaped by the people, places, things around me, and that I needed to do an assessment of that. And there's a reason this little guy is over here. The Bible is actually a journey in consciousness. Metaphysically, it's a journey in consciousness. It starts with Genesis. And who shows up in Genesis? This little guy. Metaphysically, that little guy represents the conscious ego. And so when we look at our attachments, and when I was assessing what I had, I says, you know, I collect a lot of things. And some of you, again, have heard the story that I decided to sell all my things. I got rid of them. And I moved to Indianapolis to teach, to be a director. And everything went pretty well. If you let go of something, especially a lot of things really big, you'd be amazed at how much space it creates for you. I felt like I was walking on air. It was a wonderful feeling. I had a marine aquarium, 250-gallon marine aquarium. Took a little attention. Had some other toys. Took a little attention. Eventually sold a house. My son called it the money pit. Took a lot of attention. I felt great for about 3 months. What happened? Stuff happened. Life gets stressful. School wasn't moving and things weren't happening the way I wanted, and there was conflicts with the students. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? I could be sitting on the beach somewhere, just retired and go to Fort Lauderdale and just enjoy myself on the beach. And I started thinking, why? Who am I, really? Who am I? Who do I want to be? Why am I here? And the nice thing about the School of Metaphysics is we have this thing called intuitive reports. So you can do an assessment of your mental, emotional, physical state of being. And I thought, I want one of those. I better do that right now, real quick. Where did I go? First line in the intuitive report. This one is in a fight with itself. Oh my God. It's one thing to have two kids tugging. I was in a fight with myself. As soon as I saw that, I thought, oh yeah, you think? Because this little guy up here is saying, what'd you do? Why'd you do it? Are you crazy? Now, my kids call me crazy. The dentist, they went to the dentist's office one day, and the dentist says, I love your mama. I have to make an extra half-hour appointment because we have so much fun. They says, yeah, we know she's crazy. She says, yeah, I know. She's really a lot of fun to talk with. We have a really good time. And the Young woman says, no, you don't understand. She's crazy. So what happened here? I started looking at, okay, where am I really going? And if you notice this little thing over here, anybody recognize that? Symbolically, it's that movement upward, and this little guy looks like he might be having a little bit of trouble. There's another interesting thing about this picture, as I watch for this little thing here. You can't see the top. I knew I wanted to go upward. I knew I wanted to elevate my consciousness. The thing is, I didn't have a clear picture of what that was. So I decided to do the most logical thing. Go to college and start focusing on what really are my attitudes and beliefs. And I call it truth or dare because when I was growing up, this is me. Well, actually, that's my hat. I wasn't quite that pretty, but my lifestyle, my attitude, I got to the college and I had a lot of attitudes. I had a lot of unconscious beliefs and attitudes. Anybody got any of those? Got a few of those. Yeah, well, thank you for being honest. What they started looking like was this over here. I started identifying more and more of those little babies, and this is me, and this is all my beliefs and attitudes. People were helping me out. The beautiful thing about going to a spiritual community is you get to go into nature. And if anyone, and I'm sure everyone in here understands, nature is very healing. Nature is very honest. The animals are very honest. I've learned to really appreciate cows. They're very gentle, beautiful animals. And the divine friends. And that's wonderful. The one challenge with divine friends, I love every last one of them, they're honest. So what did they start telling me? Mavis, you're a little bit too bossy. Mavis, you really got to listen a little bit better. Mavis, you're not paying attention. I said, I'm really sincere. I'm going to change. So I started looking to those attachments, that inward move, and I said, all right, I'm fixing this. So what I did is I started making a list of all the things I need to change. Now, we're metaphysicians in here, right? What happens when you make a list of things you don't want? Oh, my God, I was drowning. I was absolutely drowning in don't wants. So you see this little guy right here? I said, God, help me. I need an ark. I need an ark. I need help. So I rented a 31-foot RV. Now, you might say that's a little crazy. It was kind of nice because I like space, and I figured in the state I was in, I need a little bit of space. And I traveled around this area. I'd never been through the West. I'll call it West, Midwest area. Spending time with myself. Who am I? Again, what am I? Why am I? Why am I doing all of this? And of course, the old ego is getting stronger and a little bit more personable, right? As soon as you start changing something in that sumo wrestler, it gets pretty tough. Because this is a core of who you are. This was a core of who I am. I thought I was pretty cool. I thought I was really fun. And I am. I really am. One gal came up to me, she says, you know, Mavis, we know you want to be loving and kind. And I said, well, wait a minute, that's where you're wrong. Because I am loving and kind. I got a few other things I got to work on, but I know I'm loving and kind. And then I started looking, and I says, wait a minute. I could drive myself with all these things crazy with all these things I don't want. What I really want to do is focus on the things I do want. And the most important thing I want to focus on is who am I right now in this moment? And there's a little tool to help us. Does anybody realize that the Sermon on the Mount is the most read scripture in the Bible? Anybody realize that? It's also probably one of the least understood. And if you look at it from a metaphysical perspective, what it's describing is, and when you look deep into it, it is how to construct that attitude, that state of being, move that energy source within you to a core place where you can be in harmony and in alignment with who you really are. It's all there. Now, it takes a while to explain it all, so they only gave me 20 minutes, so I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to explain all of it, but I will talk about one. How about, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. And what I'd like for you is draw an image of one place where people go when they're in mourning, to the funeral home, where a loved one is. There's not going to be one mean person there. There's going to be a lot of people in that room that outside that room, they may have some differences. They may have a little bit of conflict. But when they're in that room, there's a lot of hugs going on. There's a lot of conversation about all the great things that person was, did, had. We don't talk about the things they weren't. We talk about who they were and how grateful we were and are having them in our lives. There's a sense of openness and love and caring. The way you can create that within yourself is to call to mind those moments. Bring the image of that moment in your mind. Allow that moment to go away and hold that energy. Hold that vibration. That's that highest vibration within you. That is divine love. That is joy. There is a sense of peace in that moment. And we can create those for ourselves. And the way we can go deeper in the scripture is to understand that there was a source. It was written originally in Aramaic. That was Christ's native language, native tongue. And that Beatitudes actually was translated from to be whom. And what that means is the capacity. Creating the capacity of mind to be in harmony with the divine intent. So each one of those Beatitudes is some insight in how to create that space for yourself. How to make that happen. And that in every moment you can make that happen. Small matter of detail, right? How are you feeling right now? Yeah. You can create that in every moment. Now in business, when we do presentations to clients, everybody looks for a silver bullet. So when I get to that space that I'm really kicked off center, and I can't run through the Beatitudes in that moment, it's really hard. What can I do? Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. All right, so I haven't practiced this that well. All right, one of the other things that ego's getting stronger. How many believes the ego is this thing right out here in front of you? Good. Yeah. The ego is that thing right in here. Usually we talk about it being up here. Because in here is that level of consciousness that's God-centered. And the journey, part of the journey is to harness that bad boy. Now that could have been man just as easily on that. That in mastering ourselves, in creating those attitudes or those states of being, that what we're doing is we're really mastering the ego. And we're integrating our real self back into our complete whole self. We're not annihilating the ego. Anybody want to heard, let's just shoot the ego, kill it, get rid of it? It's you. It's you. We just want to evolve it. We want to evolve it into the capacity to direct it, to control it. And the silver bullet is that it is about being. And there's one state that you can move to. And this is from September 7th, Daily Word. And it's divine love is the essence of my being. Whenever you are kicked totally off-centered, and I'm going to have you do this with me right now because I want you to create this state within yourself. So I'd like for you to close your eyes. Being productive is important, even necessary to life. Yet constant doing may damage my health. It may also keep me from knowing my intrinsic value and experiencing love. So if you close your eyes for a moment, what I'd like to do is close your eyes and take in a deep breath. and release it. Taking a second deep breath, hold it, and release, relaxing into that real essence of who you are. Feel your solar plexus. Take in another deep breath and release it. Feel now your heart beating. Feel that essence of you in the heart center. That is you. You are love. And let my words be your words. I restore my well-being by taking time to do nothing. I let go of mental planning or worrying and center myself in the boundless peace of God. I release any belief that I have to do more or become someone better to be worthy of God's acceptance and love. Divine love is all-encompassing and is the essence of my own being. As I relax and just simply be myself, I am revitalized. As I bask in the stillness, I experience my eternal oneness with the infinite love and peace of the divine. Divine love is the essence of my being. Take in a deep breath. And as you do so, open your eyes. We are in the heart energy now. It started 2012. We are in a new space, and we have a choice to be a part of it or resist it. You are love. Go with it. It's a beautiful thing. Namaste.